guys, and thank you everyone for coming. It's such a treat to be here with my friends in the writing community in San Francisco. And I decided to read something that I'd written pretty recently rather than something from the novel I'm working on, because this is a little more emotionally top of mind for me. And it's in two parts. Part one, maybe it was a bad idea to go see the butterflies. One iridescent blue fairy landed on a hibiscus bush, and it was magic. Stupidly, we thought more of the blue morpho butterflies would be even better. Like the words concentration camp, butterfly farm had none of the calm orderliness those words might have implied. Instead, a whole revolting cage of them, clinging to the walls and roof, dying on the ground, or dead. A waste of bright wings, crushed to dusky powder as butterflies careened into their steel pen, the lights, each other, graceless in captivity. Dozens pulsated as they furiously sucked the nectar from pieces of fermenting pineapple. The next regiment of butterflies hung in rows in cabinets in partial states of emergence from glossy chrysalises, their destiny to live for roughly 1 month in this cage overeating rotting fruit. 1 month, that is, if they did not first fry themselves, striving for the lights. One had escaped. It wasn't so hard, they were always leaving the damn door open. Instead of flying away, he perched on the exterior of the cage, shivering to get in. I wished a warm, compassionate breeze would carry him away. To leave the security and find sustenance in the flowers while the others gorged until they were so inebriated they fried their sad brains looking for warmth. To see a little of the wide, undefined world, where there may be a God, after all, or at least some mysterious rustling in the leaves. Part two. Building security calls to say a visitor, Walter, is here to see me, and I remember that I had agreed to do an informational interview with this man, who expects to lose his job as his bank is taken over by another, stronger bank in Pasadena. It is after 5, and I just want to go home. Last night was at the office until 11, 9 the night before, and I got up early this morning to get ready for the big meeting, and now I am so frigging tired I could cry. I greet Walter in the lobby. As we make our way through the building, he comments on its exposed ductwork, concrete pillars, and low voltage lighting. I'm sure it looks nothing like the banks he's used to. It was cool for about a year in the dot-com days, I say, circa 1999. He is winded from the walk to my office. We take our seats at my table. He looks around and says, genuinely, "This is a nice office," which I think is funny because my coworkers ask why I wanted this weird office at the end of the hall with its sloped floors in view of the Transbay Terminal construction. I wanted it because I need to see the daylight and the night sky, so I'm aware that I'm working late at night. Walter is awkward in a black suit and tie that seems constricting, although it may just be the twitch in his shoulder that makes him appear uncomfortable. He has a wide, whiskered face, like my father. My father has been waiting for his birthday to go to the doctor because when he turns 65, he will be eligible for Medicare. My father is diabetic and has bad hips and high blood pressure. Walter is heavy like him. I wonder if he's worried about losing his health insurance. By way of introduction, I tell him that I've been with the firm for 11 years and that I worked in the paper and air freight industries before that. I suppose I'm really trying to tell him, you may look like my father, but I'm not just some kid a few years out of college. I reiterated what I told him on the phone. I have no open positions right now, but maybe some opportunity will come up at some point. We talk about mutual acquaintances in our field who've been displaced as their banks went under. One of them, Mark, called me just yesterday to offer his consulting skills. Unfortunately, he hitched his rising star to a bank that specialized in the option arm mortgages that turned out to be not such a good idea. Those are the markets for you. Mark is young, smart, and articulate, and he'll be okay in the end, I think. Walter tells me about his colleague in San Francisco who was just notified that if he doesn't report to work in Pasadena on Monday, he will be fired. The new bank did not offer to cover relocation costs for him and his family. Walter's local office is closing in 6 weeks, and he doesn't know if he will have a job in Pasadena, but he'd rather not work for a firm that treats people like that anyway. Oddly, he adds, There's no way I could learn their software in 6 weeks anyhow. Oh, Walter, I think, that's not how you market yourself. It's competitive out there. You have to make people believe you can still learn new things. Instead of the positioning and pretense I'm used to, he's honest. My only clue that he cares about this interview at all is the look in his eyes that says, please. I give him an opening to sell himself. You mentioned you like digging into models, I say. My firm's regulator wants more analysis comparing our risk modeling to theirs. Sounds like you may be able to help. He hesitates and tells me he's not that familiar with this particular regulator's models. We both agree that the models are complicated and that neither of us are as sophisticated as the PhDs who build them. Walter has offered no unique skill or insight from his many years of experience. I wonder if he doesn't know to treat informational interviews like real interviews, or if he has simply given up. I look at my watch and tell him I need to leave. He seems surprised, even though it's getting late and we've talked for an hour. In the elevator to the lobby, he is more relaxed than when we rode up. The twitch in his shoulder is gone. A look of resignation on his face as I shake his hand and say, I'll contact him if something comes up. He walks slowly to the door. I sigh and head back up to my office, too tired to worry about Walter. Tired from striving to make sure my own job is safe. I think I've done enough today to assert my competence. I try to concentrate on getting the last few emails out so I can go home, trying to muster the energy for the positioning, the persuasion that they require. I keep seeing Walter's weary, pleading eyes, the rest of his face already blurred with my father's face. I imagine him going home to tell his wife about the fruitless interview in the weird industrial building. I hope his wife is kind and will tell him he is still relevant, he is lovable. I want someone to tell me that. Walter, the most authentic conversation I've had today. Funny that I thought I was the one who was secure because I know how to play this game. I wonder, Walter, what it will be like on the outside.